Getting ready to speak with Brian Williams. He is the head of WASA, acting head of WASA Tobago. And of course, we know we have some challenges with water supply. We're in the rainy season, but it's a dry, rainy season. And he too would speak to the amount of water collected and so on. And we'll get to that in a few minutes as soon as I get the cue. And so, meanwhile, conserve water. But however, WASA has its role to do it because there are bus, you see water running, wasting when they turn on the water. And you see some bus line and so on, and you have to ask, all right, what is happening with that? So let's bring now Mr. Brian Williams, acting head of WASA Tobago. Good morning and welcome, sir.
Good morning, gentlemen. Morning to the Tobago and the viewing public.
It's strange during this rainy season, quote unquote, that we have water problems. What is the problem? What is contributing to why? One former WASA employee said it's a matter, it's not that we don't have water, we have management issues. Speak to us as to what is causing, why we're in this crisis.
All right, let me start at the top. The organization organized a media tour yesterday so that the people, through the eyes of the media, could see exactly the challenges we have. To lend some veracity to the reason why we didn't do not just an internal thing, that's not the reason, but it adds to it. The independent and free media would have been invited, all the media houses. We attempted to contact. We had some challenges contacting some, for which I have apologized. But the intention and the expectation was to share with the wider public exactly where we are in terms of the resources that we don't have at this time of year, which is weird. And one of the driving forces behind sharing this is that to the average person, outside green and rain always falling. So when WASA, Brian Williams, the Tobago region says we're having water shortage challenges, it's a difficult thing to wrap your head around unless you're able to come and see exactly where we are, in terms of the resources that we don't have, the river flows. Tobago is served largely, we produce on average 12, 13 million gallons a day. And there's about a 50-50 split between the surface sources and the ground sources. Historically, the surface sources are most impacted as the dry season progresses from January to June, right? And those are the times we normally speak to conservation and all the other things. But at September/October, where we are now, the levels, the flows that we are seeing in my life and time, I haven't seen them at the Coland River. And I just want to say that the challenges that we are experiencing is, while we would have spoken a lot about Coland yesterday, is not entirely about Coland, right? The two major surface sources that are dependent on river intakes are Coland and Richmond, and generally Richmond has proven to be over the years the more robust of the supply sources, in that it holds its own better as the season progresses. The challenges that we are having are largely on the Coland Hillsborough, in the Coland Highlands Road area, which they are all off the Coland River. So it was important to us to share that and to bring the Met Office, the independent agencies, so that the veracity of the exercise and the statements that are being made as they relate to the unavailability of the resource being exacerbated by the low rainfall and all the other things could be independently shared with the public, right? You would have spoken to leaks and that there are water, and I want to share this with you. There is truth in that the leak repair program is an integral part of conservation on our end. And to share with you, to this end, we have ramped up our leak identification and the repair program, and we are actually in the process of internally upgrading the leak repair trust from a staffing, from a equipment, from a management standpoint. That is an internal and ongoing exercise, and it is, you will see the difference.
Very good. You talk about not having resources. There's water. I want to ask, is there sufficient water, or are you satisfied with the amount of rainfall that can suffice the demand for water? Is it that when you say you don't have resources, or what else is contributing to why the water is not distributed as it should during this rainy season? I'll come to the dry season in a while.
All right. Well, the biggest challenge that we have at this point is the low rainfall resulting in the reduction in the available amount of water to send out to the public. And let me use Courland Water Treatment Plant and the Highlands Road Water Treatment Plant. They are the most impacted of the sources. There are others, but these are the two that are most impacted. The challenge is Courland serves from Plymouth to Crown Point, about 20% of the population. And what has happened traditionally is that the Courland system comprises of a number of wells and other systems that feed into it. Because of the shortfall at the Courland system, we have to manage the resource by redistributing, adjusting the schedules to suit. The challenge with that is that, let me give you a real example. The Culloden area is fed by the Annersville well, which gives them a very regular and continuous supply. Because of the challenges at Courland, we have had to schedule them downward in order to take some of the resource, the water that would normally go to that area. We have 3 wells in the back there to support the decline that we are experiencing in the Courland River. So the major challenge at this point, the major challenge is the unavailability of the surface source flows owing to rainfall. You would have asked me about resources, and that is a major challenge. Sorry, go ahead.
And in terms of the groundwater sources, what is the latest with regards to that? Because, I mean, depending on rainfall, and clearly we had a look at climate change.
Yes.
And with the lack of rainfall, this is cause for major concern.
It is.
But alternatives, where are we? And we heard of the major pipelines and so on, and we're also hearing about the leaks. But what is in place in terms of groundwater sources?
All right. Well, let me tell you one of the secondary activities that is happening at this point. In order to properly manage any resource, you have to know how much you have. If you're going down to make your groceries, you have to know you have enough grocery money, etc., etc., etc. The organization is in the process of ensuring that what we have, we have an accurate record of it. And to this end, we have a major program going on across Trinidad and Tobago where bulk meters are being installed to ensure that if we say we're doing 42,000 gallons from this one, it's 42,000 gallons.
What kind of meters, repeat?
Bulk meters, flow meters.
Okay.
The water meters are being installed at all the production facilities, be it the wells, the surface water, and even at major offtakes, so that the audits and actual flows can be known, so that we have we have data against which we can do our management exercises. So the first step is the measurement, and that process is ongoing and we're well on the way in Tobago, where meters are being installed at the wellheads, at the plants, at critical offtakes to ensure that we know what we have. Additionally, the Water Resources Agency, WRA, has been engaged, and we are in the process of ensuring that we're checking the levels in the wells to ensure that we have a fair understanding and appreciation of the resources that we have. Because this whole water cycle, it's all interlinked and interdependent. And what rainfalls, recharges downstairs, recharges the surface. And in order to understand and have a deeper appreciation of where we are, we have to do the necessary checks and balances, and that process is ongoing.
Joining him is Ms. Jiselle Webster, and of course she is communication manager. Good morning and welcome, Ms. Webster.
Good morning.
All right, so all of Tobago is complaining. What bothered me is when the report of a tourist wanting to bathe in some hotel and did not have water, and I'm sure that hurt all of WASA. Just tell us as to what the public should be mindful of, and what advice is WASA offering at this time. We'll come to should we need chop-borne water, what is available, who they need to call to get that supply. But in the meanwhile, there are those little areas of concerns, hotels and so on. So where's WASA in terms of that providing the services that may be lacking in those areas?
All right, so firstly, thank you and good morning to everyone. As it relates to the phone numbers, our numbers are 639-6850, 639-6853, and that's our call center. You can also use our WhatsApp app to also make a chop-bond request as it relates. As of today, at 6 a.m. this morning, we also shared our updated schedule, and we'll be doing that weekly from this Friday and every Friday going forward. In addition to that, we will be working closely with the tourists, especially as we have the upcoming October Carnival taking place.
Excellent. Now, and there's where the real concern is, because there's going to be an influx of people here from all over the world coming to enjoy our carnival. However, they need to be most of all. Mr. Williams, and you spoke about the western end of Tobago, where the hotels are, and the supply comes from Corland. Let's talk about in school when we were children, there was a rainfall measurement in a yellow concrete thing, and we had to go out there and we see the amount of rainfall for the time being. I don't know what you call it scientifically. And
a weather station.
It's a what?
Weather station.
Right. So the amount of rainfall from the start of the rain season to now has fallen short of what is expected as to bring the water supply to a particular level. Where are we with the supply of rainfall? Did we have adequate rainfall? Obviously, something went wrong in terms of nature and so on. But where are we? How much rainfall did we have that is required for the amount of water to be supplied on a regular basis?
All right. The Met, thankfully, was part of the consultation yesterday. And the information provided by the Met Service is that for the month of September, we received about 70 millimeters of rainfall at their station. And that was 35% of what was expected, the long-term average, which is 75% of the long-term average. So the rainfall that was recorded was 1/3 of what was expected, right? And what we are feeling now, and what we saw yesterday, where we could stand in the middle of a river in the height of the rainy season, is in part to the unavailability of the rainfall or the lack of the limited rainfall that we experienced in the month of September. The projections that were shared by the Met Office yesterday revealed that the earlier parts of this month ahead will also be not as rainy as expected, but from the second half of the month and for the rest of the year, there is an expected uptick.
Very good. So we have October, November, December.
And then the start of the dry season.
And then the dry season. So let's go now. Let's say that the surface water, God forbid, we hope we get heavy rain this month and next month, that would suffice for the shortfall of what is required for regular supply. Dry season is coming up. Will the groundwater level, or that we have to, let's say that there's enough rain and the surface water is not enough, to speak to us from the groundwater supply level when, Hochoy would have discovered all these wells all over Tobago and so on. Let's speak to that. Do we have on standby enough water to suffice the dry season?
At this point, we produce 12 million gallons a day. 6 million surface, 6 million ground, roughly. And at present, there is a huge shortfall in the surface supplies, and that is being supported by the groundwater reserves. It is reasonable to expect that the added trust that is required, the added support that is required from the groundwater systems need to be monitored to ensure that the resource, the utilization against what is available is such that the process of providing water to the public is sustainable. What I can speak to, as it relates to the question that you would have asked, is that at WASA, here at WASA in Tobago, and then in Trinidad and Tobago, we are taking cognizance of the available resource and ensuring that the process of managing, distributing, right, and monitoring the process and providing the necessary feedback to the public in terms of what we delivered, what we didn't deliver, the shortfalls, and what we are going to do about it is on red alert. We are ensuring that in terms of the management activities associated with distributing the resources that are available are on point. They are the tip of the spear. To this end, we have, as Ms. Webster would have intimated, we have published the schedules so that everybody knows the schedules will be published every Friday. The people on the ground will be looking at what the schedule has said in terms of what we can deliver, and we'll be tweaking the schedules and changing them in real time to reflect what we can deliver.
Right. So let's speak to the schedule. On the western end, all right, let me just, before we come to the schedule, Mr. Williams, we came here with the former Minister of Public Utilities, and we boast that we will have regular water supply in the west with the new main that was run in record time and is surfacing the Crown Point, Kena, and Bonaccord area. Yes. What happened? That was groundwater, right?
Groundwater.
And we are hearing hoteliers are saying that they're having a problem. What has gone wrong from since the regular supply, when we came here we were happy and so on, and for what went wrong? Why is the West still crying out for water with that new pipeline?
All right. We would have done a voiceover on Sunday that spoke to you. The challenge we had, there were some mechanical and pipeline repair challenges that we experienced. They all happened to us at once, Murphy, and it resulted in the unavailability of the supply that we would normally send on the wells to go down to Southwest. Those challenges have been repaired, and one of the strategies which I'm sure we'll come to in terms of ensuring that we have an adequate supply to Southwest for the Carnival and the end of October, the utilization of that line is a major part of the strategy to ensure that the shortfall that we are presently experiencing at the Colon plant, right, can be mitigated by sending water. So that system is back up and running, and at present we are still doing makeup schedules because it was very difficult, and the area we are in communication, usually the communications people, the CRU, Customer Response Unit, one of Ms. Webster's unit, they are there talking to the customers at the end of the shift, making phone calls to find out what challenges were there. So a very robust structure in terms of the monitoring and the feedback that will feed into the management of the schedules is in place. Ms. Webster has a key responsibility in terms of providing that information. And on the other hand, the operational people have a responsibility to ensure that we deliver and we adjust based on the information and the feedback that you get through the customers, through the media houses and through our internal system.
Very good. All right, so Ms. Webster, Mr. Bryan spoke about the schedule. Obviously, people are going to get water every day. Yes. However, there's a schedule that you have to follow. So if you want to do your laundry, cater for that. You might have to stay home. In some cases, you come middle of the week. And sometimes on a weekend, when you want the water to do all your washing and things, WASA said none. So let's speak to which area, how the schedule works for what area that is water will be supplied to.
Right. So
on what day and so on.
So the particulars, Mr. Williams will speak to the particulars, but what I would want to do is to encourage persons to conserve and also report leaks. One of the things I would recommend is something that I do at home is try to wash when you have the water day. Wash with full loads. When you're doing dishes, you wash all your dishes at the same time. Try to flush not as often as you could. Bathe, take shorter showers. We try to encourage conservation measures. And in terms of on the other hand, also report leaks to us. And we encourage persons to report the leaks, and those who have been reporting the leaks to continue helping us partner in that way.
Right, so we're conserving water. So you're washing of your cars and that kind of thing, use a bucket instead of hose and that sort of thing. And somebody called me, you would not believe, and point to a particular establishment that have water all the time, even though during water shortage and so on, and they are washing cars. You don't want to, come over as though but those are concerns that people have. They can't get water, however they have water to wash car. So even that, Mr. Williams, there's no way to control that because that's an establishment and so on. And that's the business of that establishment. But that too is using water for individuals who have to wash cars on the wash and all them story there. Let's bring that into perspective in conserving. And how do you regulate, maybe give just the same way that we had to look out for water on a particular day, is that same for businesses that has to use this excessive amount of water?
One of the things that is being discussed at the upper levels of the organization, because where we are now, the conditions are mimicking a harsh dry season, the height of the dry season. It is, that is where we are, right? And one of the things that is engaging the organization in terms of, from a conservation standpoint, with the measures that we would normally have implement, because normally you have a dry season hose ban, you have a dry season, we speak to those kinds of things. We have never been where we are now, where at the height of the rainy season, we had to think about conservation and possible restrictions the way we have to think about it now. So I will say at this point that these are discussions that are ongoing internally, and at some point in the very, very near future, based on where we are, there are public pronouncements will be made. But you are correct, it has the utilization and the conservation methods and the enforcements that would have been normally put in place to ensure continuity during the dry season, which essentially is a period of lower availability than usual, are being discussed and pronouncements will be made.
Very good. The water truck supply, if need be, people at the contact. There was a bacchanal maybe a year or so ago about the possibility of water being sold to people by the utility, by WASA and so on. That was condemned, and there was no confirmation that there was proof to that effect. When people want water via the truck, what are the numbers and who are they to speak to? And if anybody say you have to give me a little thing extra, then they should report it. Speak to those that issue of people trying to make a hustle.
And thank you for that. We will be reminding our consumers and also our customers that the WASA truck bond service is a free service, and you're not to pay any $600 or $800 to anybody that is using that water truck. Our numbers are 639-6850.
Yeah, 639.
6850. 639-6853. 639-9272.
9272?
That's correct.
Very good. All right. So, and when they speak to the person in charge, they are legitimate and will not. So speak to nobody else. These numbers, and they will respond. All right. So, in closing, Mr. Williams, clearly, of course, we want this matter resolved. We have October coming up, and we want all the hotel. All right. So, and the advice to property owners that you're supposed to have your standby water supply, your tanks and your little tanks and so on. What do you say to people who do not have these tanks, when water, again, they're supposed to rely on their own supply, so to speak, once they have, allowed their tanks to be filled and so on? What would you want to say in closing to people who need to have standby water in their tanks at home?
At this point, I want to say to you, the public, we want to apologize for the inconveniences caused by the unavailability of the resource, right? We are limited by the fact that the major challenge resides in the unavailability of the resource at source. Notwithstanding, there are things that as a management, as an organization, that we can do. Brother B's question leads me to see that there are also things that you as the customer have a responsibility for on the customer side of this thing. The overflowing tanks, the leaking taps. We need the utilization to wash the car 7 times a week. The challenges that we have, they are upon all of us, and they affect all of us directly, because where I sit and where the employees, where we sit, we have double stake in this, because we are all customers. I have to bathe to come here, I have to brush my teeth to come here, I have to go to the bathroom. Nobody's immune. So we have a responsibility, not just to you, but to ourselves and to our family. And at this point here, we are doing what we can from a management standpoint, and it's like saying, we have to all do our individual parts so that collectively we can weather the challenges that we have until the rain comes, and all the other things that we have put in place to ensure that the supply heads in the right direction in a very sustainable way. I am sure, I just want to add that I am sure that very soon Brother B will invite us back to discuss the long-term plans that speak to the sustainability of the resource in the face of the challenges that we are experiencing that are owing to climate change. Until then, I would like to say thank you for your continued support in the Water Conservation Trust as it relates to ensuring that on your side, the customer side, you are doing all you can while we on the outside between the sources and the property line are doing what we can to provide you with a supply and to communicate the challenges and utilize the feedback as positive management information to ensure that we fix this thing together.
Excellent.
Thank you.
And in closing, Ms. Webster?
I'm just encouraging persons to conserve, and thank you for the patience with us as it relates to the domestic customers and also the hoteliers. Our next assignment is to continue our engagement with the hoteliers as we normally do, have the technical officers out and our customer response unit out as well, trying to work together, see where the shortfalls are and work together to ensure that water is available and managed by us.
Excellent. And thank you both and all the best.